On February 28, the United States and Israel launched a series of coordinated strikes deep inside Iranian territory. In a matter of hours, the region was pushed right to the edge of full-scale war. The incoming fire targeted Iran's military infrastructure and key nuclear facilities, systematically degrading their operational capabilities from the air. During the barrage, Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, was killed. With their leadership decapitated and their conventional military decimated, Tehran abandoned traditional warfare. They shifted their focus to a retaliatory strategy that would bypass military strength and target the global supply lines instead. Iran moved the battleground away from the land and out into the sea, specifically targeting the Strait of Hormuz. The strait is a restricted geographical choke point, measuring just 21 miles wide. This map shows the extreme density of global shipping lanes funneling through this corridor. Almost 20% of the world's daily oil supply must pass through this tiny stretch every single day. To choke off that traffic, Iran deployed thousands of basic sea mines and swarms of heavily armed naval speedboats to physically block commercial vessels. The global energy markets reacted instantly. The moment those shipping lanes were restricted, oil prices jumped past $100 a barrel, sending an immediate economic shockwave across the globe. By locking down this single waterway, Tehran took a devastating military loss and converted it into direct leverage over the entire global economy. In response to the blockade, Donald Trump spoke to reporters from Air Force One, announcing a plan to forcefully reopen the waterway. His strategy relies on a strict condition. The United States will not take on the responsibility alone. Instead, he is demanding the creation of a global naval coalition made up of 7 specific countries. The mandate for nations like France, Japan, South Korea, and the UK is straightforward. If they want their oil, they must deploy their own warships to escort their own commercial tankers and help clear the Iranian sea mines. Trump is explicitly tying this demand to the future of the NATO alliance. NATO is an intergovernmental military alliance between North American and European countries meant to guarantee mutual defense. He argued that the U.S. supported Europe heavily during the Russia-Ukraine conflict and now expects those allies to return the favor. Washington is refusing its historical role as the default global policeman. The new doctrine dictates that nations relying on Middle Eastern oil must foot the bill and assume the military risks themselves. The most intense diplomatic pressure of this entire strategy is being directed squarely at Beijing. This flowchart shows the scale of China's exposure to the crisis. Nearly 90% of all oil imported by China from the Gulf routes directly through the Strait of Hormuz. Washington's demand that China join a military coalition ignores a glaring logistical reality. Tehran has already stated they will allow Chinese vessels safe passage, provided Beijing asks them directly. Because China does not actually need a massive naval escort to secure its energy, the U.S. strategy is effectively a diplomatic trap. Washington is using the chaos of the strikes to force neutral powers into actively opposing Iran under the banner of maritime security. To force the issue, Trump has threatened to delay or cancel a critical upcoming summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping unless Beijing immediately commits warships to the Gulf. By forcing countries to send gunboats rather than diplomats, the U.S. is using the coalition as a purity test, attempting to sever any remaining economic ties between Tehran and the rest of the world. Tehran has mounted its own diplomatic counteroffensive, led by Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. According to Araghchi, several nations have already decided to bypass Washington entirely. They are quietly opening back channels directly with Iran, requesting safe passage for their commercial fleets. Iran is maintaining a hardline stance. They are refusing any negotiations with the U.S. until Washington takes full public responsibility for launching the initial February 28 strikes. This back-channeling undermines Trump's proposed coalition. Faced with the immediate threat of energy shortages, many nations are proving they will prioritize their own economic survival over America's broader geopolitical goals. The situation has locked the globe into a paralyzing standoff. A nation with its conventional military largely destroyed is successfully holding the global economy hostage against the combined diplomatic and military pressure of the United States. A handful of basic sea mines and small naval boats are currently enough to paralyze trillions of dollars in maritime trade. Traditional metrics of military supremacy, stealth fighters, massive standing armies, and defense pacts, lose their utility if essential commercial supply chains stop moving. Power on the world stage does not always belong to the state with the most advanced weaponry. Often, it belongs to the nation positioned along the right stretch of water, willing to close the gates.